Good morning, good life. You're listening to Detail Therapy, episode 58. New year, who dis? But wait, you feeling a little disappointed in the state of your resolutions already? According to the New York Post and research they shared, you quit your New Year's resolutions just a couple days ago on the 1st of February. That's 32 days into the year and the average amount of time Americans are giving up on their goals. And 68% didn't even make it that far. So many people find themselves in this rut for any number of reasons. Biting off more than you could chew. Failing to set up habit patterns for your day-to-day. Being unprepared to defy the obstacles that inevitably trip us up. And of course, life happens. I, for one, went on an international trip that took me off my mark for a bit, and the virus I picked up just in time to get back home didn't help either. Let's not have a failing February. Let's get back on track together. Today's episode is dedicated to a couple of tips to make that happen and patch up those broken 2020 resolutions.
She's an award-winning YouTuber and best-selling author obsessed with helping you go after the life you want.
I like it.
Join her as she seeks out the stories and strategies.
Give me every little detail.
Of extraordinary people who found success.
I'm going to get emotional. Oh my God.
Welcome to Detail Therapy with Amy Landino.
Hey, season 4, how are ya? That was my Jeffree Star impression. Oh my gosh, it feels so good to talk on this microphone again. I really missed you, Detail Therapy. We took a little bit of a break. It was kind of like, the end of the year, the start of a new year, really trying to get our stuff together over here at The Biz. And I just wanted to make sure that I planned this season the way I wanted to. You may have heard in the teaser, I'm doing this one a little bit differently. There are going to be fewer interviews, but the ones that we have are going to be fab. Lots of good conversations to come. And just like in this episode, we're definitely going to have some one-to-one time, you and me. So that's what's going on. I feel like we just needed a little bit of time to kind of recalibrate based on the fact that we've just done the show a little bit differently in the past. I'm just trying new things. I'm not putting like stakes in the ground on anything in particular. I just like to keep things interesting. And I know you do too. So that's very important that we keep that going on. By the way, just so much behind the scenes that's happening. I feel like I say this all the time. Please tell me if I'm getting annoying at Schmatastic on Instagram or at Details Podcast. You can pop over there as well and leave a comment. Am I getting annoying when I say so many things behind the scenes that I cannot tell you about? Actually, more personally than anything, no, I'm not pregnant. But yeah, lots of details to come. Definitely toward the end of the month, probably more in March. But yeah, some things happening over here. Just embracing the new decade, the new year. Trying to get my resolutions back on track. I know you feel me about that if you're listening to this. And we are going to talk about that. Before we get into today's topic, though, if you're new to the show, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Amy Landino, and I will be your host. I am the founding creator of Gatlu House, a media company dedicated to helping you go after the life you want. In addition to this podcast, we produce the award-winning YouTube series AMYTV, of which I am also the host. I'm also the author of 2 best-selling books, including Good Morning, Good Life, which can be found on Amazon, Kindle, and now on Audible. I don't think we ever got to announce this last season, so you can definitely get the book for your earbud pleasure now. Links to everything I mentioned will be in the show notes at detailspodcast.com. This episode of Detail Therapy is also sponsored by Acorns because we are trying to get our resolutions right, just in case one of your resolutions includes money health, or maybe it doesn't and you should consider it. Acorns is where anyone can grow wealth when you invest your spare change. I am so obsessed with this app. I open it all the time to see what's going on with it because I love the fact that just a couple bucks here and there that I never even realize is gone is moving toward my financial wellness and my future. You can invest your spare change with this app, setting aside just leftover change from everyday purchases by turning on automatic roundups. So when you make a purchase with your debit card or your credit card, whatever is linked to the account, you can have it round up automatically for you, 1, 2, or a couple bucks, depending on how much you want to be, really investing. You can also just save for later, get ready for later in life using Acorns Later, the easiest way to save for retirement. And they are truly just the guide to financial wellness, and you can totally trust them. Their security is completely legit. The data is protected by a bank level security with 256-bit encryption. So you're not messing around with an app that's just kind of playing with your money, okay? Remember, this is all so much easier when you make it automatic, and it's not something you have to do painstakingly. It's a lot harder to set aside money to save, which we should all be doing as well. But this app can make it incrementally more by making sure that we are doing it with some of the regular stuff we do on a daily basis. So when you go shopping and you'll buy a little something here, buy a little something there, round up to the next dollar and start saving for your future as well. You can find out details about getting your first $5 from me to you by going to amylandino.com/acorns. That's amylandino.com/ACORNS. The link will be in the show notes. All right, let's start working on those broken 2020 resolutions. These are 5 tips to help you get back on track. And yeah, I might use a couple of these myself because I'm feeling it, okay? First, we're going to draw some inspiration from one of the chapters of my book in Good Morning, Good Life, and that is decide. Decide why these resolutions are still important to you individually. You've got to look at them each and say, why is this on the list? Why does this matter? Why did you take it on in the first place? This is so important to identify because you're going to forget easily to do something if you don't have a real reason why it's going to change your life. But you also want to be positive about it, not negative. When you continue to tell yourself, oh, it's because I look disgusting or I don't take care of myself, or you're super negative about how you are in general, you're only going to make yourself feel worse about the fact that you're not keeping up with the resolutions. And that's super debilitating. Like, nobody needs that. The negative self-talk is not going to move the needle for you. Just sit down and look at that ambitious list that you created and say, why will this better my life? Why is this an improvement that matters to me? And at what level deeply does it matter? Why is this important? When you do not have clarity on your why, you will not stick with anything. Resolutions sound good at the beginning of the year. They are awesome for some people. I particularly love them. They make me feel great. Doesn't mean I don't fall off track at all, but I get really reconnected with why these things matter to me so that I can get back on track. When you re-identify with that why, get really specific and feel the feels that come with it, because that is what's going to keep something ingrained in our mind and ingrained in our memory. And write down what these whys are. Don't be afraid of that. That's a big discussion that we had in the book specifically about developing a morning routine. You might decide that your why is something that's not super fun and pretty to talk about. It just needs to move you. It needs to motivate you. You're not going to be motivated 100% of the time. But when you see this why, it should make you want to take action. So the first tip is decide. Decide why this is still important to you. Decide and make sure that you don't forget. Whether you got to feel the feels. Hopefully that's first. But also, if you got to write it on a sticky note, man, no judgment. I do not have a great memory. And it's like, what were my resolutions again? Gosh, I don't think I'm doing any of them. It happens. Write them down. Put it everywhere. Put it on the bathroom mirror in the morning. Put it in your closet. Put it on your steering wheel. Who cares? It's for you. Make sure you see it and you remember it. My next tip is to, again, from inspo of the book, but it stops here. Don't worry, they change after this. Defy. You need to defy. What we talk about in the sense of Good Morning, Good Life is defying those obstacles. Well, what obstacles have you experienced in the first month of the year that have kept you from fulfilling your resolutions? I'm sure you can think of a few. And the worst part is that you know full well that they were coming. And you knew because they've come in the past and they were there for you to kick off 2020. These obstacles, they come rumbling your way and they trip you up just like they always do. They're so good at that. But here's the thing. You've got to get outside of yourself and your excuses. It's one thing when you identify the obstacles, which is what we really need to do here, right? Is it your kids? Is it your family? Is it your husband? Is it your alarm clock? Is it your phone? Is it a night owl? Is it your job? Is it a million different things could be your obstacles, right? Just depends on what the resolutions are. But to then take that instance and make it an excuse is not helping anyone here. You're really only hurting yourself. It's great when you listen to podcasts like this or read up on books or find different ways of doing things and learning more about yourself so you can lean into that so that you can become the better version of yourself. But it's another thing when you don't use that information, or worse, when you know that information and you use it as the excuse as to why you can't do the resolution. Well, here's the thing. I thought you had clarity on why you're doing this. Do you know what your why is? If you do, then we need to identify those obstacles and stop using them as an excuse and start looking at them as a problem that needs to be solved. That's what all we're doing here. We know they're going to happen. We know. So now we need to do something about it. That is what we are resolving. That is what the resolution is. We are resolving to get past these obstacles to achieve the goals we are going after. Not only do we have to do the difficult thing that is the work of working on this resolution, we have to also anticipate the obstacles that will come. Since we know it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when, we're going to come up with our if-then statements. So think about it. You know they're happening. So if they do, because we know they will, then what are you going to do about it? This is important. Identifying the fact that you know these obstacles will come and you need to anticipate them so that you can do something about it is critical. So be really specific about it. If, let's say, someone's birthday is happening at the office, you know how it works, right? There's going to be cake. Oh, there's cake. I got to go say hi, right? Somebody you don't even care about, they have cake for their birthday. You're going to go. No, you can still be a part of the group. You can still treat yourself. If it's someone's birthday at the office and there's cake, then I get to bring with me the special, healthier treat that I will enjoy for myself that I have saved just for this occasion. You decide what that thing is in advance. It is not a variable. It is not whatever icing or flavor or calorie count that somebody else picked up at the store for $5. It's the thing that you got for yourself because you have the willpower to choose it over something else. But you need to make it easy. So then. If my child wakes up earlier when I'm trying to spend time focusing on my morning routine, then I will give them a special morning routine activity so that they can be a part of my time in their own way. This is going to vary depending on what age your kids are and what they're going to need at that time. If it's a young baby and they just need to be fed, it might be something you just need to plan for. If the baby needs to eat, the baby eats, and then they go back to what they were doing. It's completely based on what is happening in your world. You might also consider, though, that if it's a little bit older of a child, you're teaching them about the morning routine so that they'll learn that it's not just this thing you're doing to kick off 2020. It's something you take very seriously in your life. And if you do, then maybe you want to teach your kids to do it too. What can they do? What's a healthy thing that they can do in the morning that could be their morning routine if they're going to be a part of that time with you? If I didn't save enough time for my normal workout and I'm starting to feel like I'm losing energy and I don't know if it's even worth it to go to the gym, then I will open the 7-minute workout app and do as much as I can for 7 minutes. 7 minutes body weight exercise. It's an app you can download. There's a billion apps like this. Find your version of what you like, because if you already have a workout plan, if you have a gym membership you're trying to use, if you like going to classes somewhere, but something happened, life happens, and maybe you went 1 or 2 days too long without going to the gym, if you're going to miss your workout, then you will open the 7-minute workout app and do 7 minutes. When you have these things prepared, it's so much easier for you to remind yourself of the power that you have to plan and execute in your life. Simply planning gets you nowhere. Plan to defy. And when you do that, you will find that these little things that you're doing to prepare and defy what's happening is making you a better person along the way, even if the actual resolution itself is somewhat suffering in the process for whatever reason. My next tip is to dismiss. Dismiss what is necessary. It is okay to say no. It's even okay to say no to 2019 version of yourself who thought that your resolution on this list would be a super good idea, but you can't reconnect with the why. That's okay. When you're getting back on track with resolutions, that might mean that some of them got to go. Get real with yourself about that. We are so ambitious. We're so excited to pick our list of resolutions to kick off the year, and we add a couple in just because they sound good. The ones that you added in that you know were the fluff, get them out. Just be okay with it. If your why is non-existent, this is not going to be good enough. It is not important enough to be a resolution. It is not a priority for your year, and it needs to be removed from your brain space, period. Be okay with dismissing a resolution that just does not fit. You have a much clearer mind now about it, maybe a little bit frazzled and disappointed mind, but you are clearer now. And you can make that decision. You may also just decide that dismiss means that you are dismissing the insanely high expectation of yourself. So maybe it's a combination of things. You chose an extreme diet and you chose a daily exercise plan. Maybe the combination of the two at the same time was too much for you. Likely, if you've never made a change successfully like that in the past, then it's not going to start now. But you could do one of those things, or you could work yourself into one of those things. So look at this and say, okay, I'm not going to dismiss this resolution completely, but I am going to dismiss the crazy expectation I had on myself and adjust it slightly. I'll give you an example of this. I've caught a lot of conversation on the YouTube channel about one of my resolutions, which I actually still stand by. So I will, full disclosure, say that, of having a goal to work out every day. Now, this is my goal. And when I say work out, I simply mean I need to exert calories. I need to do something that gets my body moving. So sometimes it's going to be a workout plan that I have for myself. Sometimes I might go to a spin class. Sometimes I might go to yoga. Other times I might just be taking a walk. And other times I might just be doing manual labor of some kind. I don't know. But if it helps me get to my calorie goal on my Apple Watch, man, that day counts, okay? That could be part of your equation as well. So that's how I feel. However, from the dismissal side of things, as we get closer to the middle of the winter and it's almost spring and the resolutions are starting to look less bright and shiny and fabulous, I am anticipating the obstacle of the fact that working out every day, I did it, I feel great, so I can take a break, right? Oh yeah, that's the trouble, huh? Well, there's a really great video by Matt Diavella. This is my contingency plan. It's called the 2-day rule. And this is where he talks about when he started working out more seriously a number of years ago, that he has a 2-day rule. And it is that he will not go 2 days, or I think it's longer than 2 days, of skipping a workout. So he never gets past the 2-day mark without making sure he gets back into the gym. This makes it a lot easier when life happens, right? We know life is going to happen. That's part of defying the obstacles. So you might have this goal of working out every day, but it's not going to happen. And quite frankly, it's really just setting you up for success to get to a good 4 to 5 workouts per week. And so that's really good. And it can continue to be possible by having things like the 2-day rule. And so I really like that. That's what I've been leaning on if I'm like, oh crap, life is happening right now and it's really messing me up. How am I going to make this work? And I'll just look at the calendar and I will look to see, can I crisscross every day? Okay, not these 1 or 2 days coming up. When am I going to get back? And make the plan. Make the plan of getting back. But you dismiss the high expectation of yourself. You dismiss the fact that perfection will not happen. You can set your sights high, but make sure that you are making it realistic for yourself. And certainly dismiss the negativity of what you're doing to yourself. Dismiss it because it is not moving you forward. It is making you more of a perfectionist, which is not getting things done. Trust me, I'm a recovering perfectionist, I can tell you. Tip number 4 is to dream. Remember when we had time to daydream, when we didn't have phones that entertained us all the time? Waiting in the grocery line, sitting in traffic. You should not be on your phone in the car, by the way. But we used to daydream. We used to actually have time to preoccupy ourselves with our minds. Well, think about that if you can remember it. Maybe you're too young. Maybe you don't remember it. But if you can think about the times when you used to daydream, maybe you still do every once in a while that you can recall. What do you dream about when it comes to your resolutions? What is it about that resolution that's going to help you get to a different space, into a better version of yourself? What does that life look like? Can you smell it? Can you see it? Can you feel it? Is it exciting? Does it get you going? Does it get you just ready to move? That's, again, it's the movement thing. When you have this decision, when you know your why, and then you can even dream about it, that is action right there. I mean, there's nothing better than that. When you are scrolling your phone and looking at everybody else's dreams coming true, not the same thing. That's it. You've got to remember who you are, the goals you have, why they're important to you, what's going to go wrong in the process, and that you're going to defy, and then dismiss the rest. And then dream it up. Just dream it. Visualization is a powerful, powerful tool when you use it. And it's something that I think a lot of successful people talk about. Is it's not just about setting arbitrary goals and picking, a certain amount of money and a certain size house and this, that, and the other thing. It's being able to actually see it happen for yourself. Because the people who believe it's actually going to happen are more likely to make the moves to make it happen. It's not just you dream it and it happens. You dream it so you're motivated for the little steps every single day to actually make it happen. So start getting visualization on your side. If you need some help with this, there's so many YouTube resources on this topic. You should just go and find out what it means to truly embrace visualization. Get outside of your cobweb negative mindset and be able to focus on something good and truly take away scarcity from the way you think as much as you can. It's very hard to do in completion, but think of the abundance factor. What if you couldn't fail? What if you couldn't fail? Visualize that. Visualize what that would look like if nothing got in your way, or lots of things got in your way and you beat them down. If you couldn't fail, what would it look like? That is, I know it sounds so dumb. It sounds so ridiculous. Like, oh yeah, Amy, yeah, visualization. I can totally see it. I can see myself 20 pounds lighter. Yep, I can see it. Can you? Can you see it? Can you feel that? You may not be able to feel that if you've never achieved anything like that before. What do you think it feels like? What would you like it to feel like? Actually Feel it. See it. Make it a priority by believing it can happen. My 5th tip is to just do one thing. Do one thing. Small changes compound over time. It may seem like we wanted to do 20 for 2020 and I want to do all 20, and you can still do that. But also, you may not need to do them all at the exact same moment. And one little thing over time, day after day after day after day, can make a major difference. Maybe you decide some of your resolutions are going to happen in stages. Some of them will happen now. Some of them will happen later. Only one will happen now. Only one tiny, tiny aspect of one will happen now. What is it? Why? Why are you moved? What is the small thing you're going to do because you're so moved and you're convinced that just this teeny tiny little thing is good enough? You probably still won't think it's good enough. To be honest, you're going to say, oh my gosh, that's ridiculous. I'm not going to get anywhere with that. It's impossible to have all this big change in your life and only do something so small. But it's funny when you want to write a book and it sounds so big and scary. And you open up the application and you're like, okay, today I'm just going to open up the application I'm going to write my book in, and I'm just going to write the title. Okay, I don't have a title yet. Okay, I'm going to put like one word I think is in the title, and you type one word. And then you probably put your author line, right? By Amy Landino. Okay, well, that's pretty easy. I know who I am. I know what my author name is. That's okay. We got that. Now you got a little something there. Then your goal is to open up that same document tomorrow and add another word to it. Add a sentence to it. Add something that's been on your mind. Add one little factoid that you think would come in handy for it later. Add one thing. Do one thing. Challenge yourself to do just 5 minutes. Just 5 minutes a day. 5 minutes. Even if I'm just sitting there and I can't think of anything, I am still going to make sure my phone isn't anywhere near me, and I'm going to sit there and I'm going to just do that one thing for 5 minutes. When you start something and only give yourself 5 minutes, it's amazing how many minutes you'll actually do. How many sentences? How many words? Do one small thing and agree to do it for every single day until you feel like you're breaking through with this resolution. Is your house always messy, but you're also overweight or getting sick all the time? You don't have to take care of all of those. You don't have to. Just do one thing. Never leave your sink full. That's it. Every single day, sink is never full. Sink never has anything in it. Dishes always get done or put in the dishwasher. Sink never has anything in it. That's it. Can't clean up the rest of the house. That's not something I'm asking you to do. Just one thing. Stick to that resolution. See how things change. Do you treat your house differently in other areas? Do you tidy up sooner? Do you see yourself losing any weight? Are you getting sick less often? Look and see where these little things start to play a role everywhere. That's what helps you make big moves, doing the one thing consistently. Are you exhausted all the time, but you feel like you're not getting anything done and going after the life you want? So you want to look up the research and you want to do some writing and you want to also make sure you get more sleep, but you also want your morning routine? Do one thing. One thing. If you're exhausted all the time and you're still not getting enough done, quit your device time for the first and the last half hours of the day. That's it. Every day, quit your device time. Do one thing. Quit your device time. Do you feel like you're getting more sleep? Are you more rested? Do you have more energy? Are you maybe breaking ground on that thing that you love because you just so happen to find the time? It's funny how the small things compound. So give yourself the credit that you can pick these resolutions back up by simply doing something small many, many times. Those are my 5 tips for your broken 2020 resolutions. Decide your why, get refreshed on it, post it everywhere in terms of in front of your face, bathroom mirror, etc. Defy. What are the obstacles? You know them well. It's been a month. They showed up with a vengeance. What are they? And what are your if-then statements? Dismiss. Dismiss the high expectations. Dismiss the resolutions that are not relevant. Dismiss them, feel good about them, clear that energy, clear that negativity, clear the brain space. Dream. Visualize what could be possible with all of this. And finally, do one thing. Just one. Choose it right now. What is the one thing? I know you know what it is. What's the resolution you're most banged up about right now? What's the one thing you're going to start doing today, or maybe even tomorrow, when you are back at it? Because I believe you're going to be right back at it. How's that for a season 4 introduction? Oh my gosh, this has been so fun. I really do love just chatting with you one-on-one. I'd love to hear what you think about this. Also, if you have any tips for broken resolutions and how to get back on track, pop over to my latest Instagram post at Details Podcast. And I would love it if you would leave your tip, leave your comment, leave your thoughts on this episode, and also leave the hashtag #LemonLife in your comment for a chance to win a copy of my book, Good Morning, Good Life. We'll get that signed and sent to you in the mail. Thanks again to our sponsor, Acorns. Make sure that you are making a teeny tiny move in your financial resolutions by going to amylandino.com/acorns to get your $5 and set up that roundup. Just round up every dollar that you spend so that you can start investing to your future like me. That's all for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate it as always. Remember, subscribe for good vibes, kiss the ones you love, and go after the life you want. I'll see you next Tuesday. Cheers.